Here we are going to study the image formation in case of a convex mirror. So here is a convex mirror given to us. We have taken its center and an arbitrary radial line coming from there. We will call this line as the axis, and we have placed an object on the axis. Next we are going to take a ray coming from the object. This one we have taken to be parallel to the axis, and this is the point where it strikes the mirror. How it gets reflected depends upon the normal at this point. Now what is a normal? It is a kind of perpendicular but drawn to a surface. So we have a spherical surface here, so we are going to call it a normal. But that spherical surface is seen as an arc, and normal to an arc is nothing but its radius. So this radial line, if we take and extend it outside like this, it becomes the normal. And then there is a nice thing about incident and reflected rays. They make equal angles with the normal. So we can measure this angle between incident ray and the normal and just construct it on the other side. So that should give us the reflected ray. Now our eyes and our brain intuitively know that light travels in a straight line, and therefore when we notice a reflected ray like this, we infer that its source must be somewhere on this segment or its extension. So in general, somewhere on this line. Where exactly on that line? To figure that, we need one more ray. So let's do that. Let's take one more ray. This time we will take it so that it passes through the center. So this ray is kind of going radially towards the mirror. But we have seen the radius is nothing but the normal. So this ray is coincident with the normal, makes zero angle with it, and therefore even the reflected ray will make angle 0 with it. So the ray just gets reflected back on itself. So the image must be somewhere on this line, and the image must be somewhere on the other line that we got earlier here. So the image will be at their point of intersection. So let's plot that. This is the point of intersection, and this would be our image. You can observe several things from it. Number one, the image is inside the mirror. Now mind you, I'm not saying behind the mirror. If you go behind the mirror, you will find nothing. But it is inside the mirror and no one can reach there. So we can't put a screen and take this image on that screen. So this is a virtual image, not a real image that you can catch, but a virtual one. Number two, it is smaller than the object. So we say it is a diminished image. Number three, the object is upright. Say it is a tree standing on this axis. So will be the image. So it is a upright image and not an inverted upside down image. Now where can we use this kind of image? Since the image is smaller and upright, you will be able to see a lot of things in the correct upright position in this mirror, because all their images will be shrunk. So even a small piece of mirror can show you a lot, and therefore you can use it to watch your back. Say while driving a car, you can use this mirror as the rear view mirror. It will show you a lot of things, a vast area behind you, but in a small piece of mirror. And do you remember the warning that is usually written on the mirror, that objects could be closer than they appear? This happens because the image is smaller. Now our brain is also trained in perspective. It infers that, oh, if I see a person very small, then he or she must be far away. So it infers distance from it. But here the diminishing of image is not because of the distance, but because of the geometry that we just studied, and therefore they write that warning there.